Do you want to speak English naturally, like a real conversation? The best way is through stories. When you listen to a fun story, your brain learns grammar and vocabulary without trying. If you're new here, hit subscribe, like this video, and turn on notifications. Today's story is wild, real, and a little painful. There was a boy named Zach who had just finished school and was traveling through Asia with his uncle. Zach was 18 years old, full of energy, and ready for anything. He had always dreamed of visiting Bangkok, the capital of Thailand. He loved spicy food, colorful streets, and anything that felt exciting. One hot afternoon, Zach and his uncle decided to ride a tuk-tuk across the city. A tuk-tuk is a small, three-wheeled vehicle used like a taxi. It's noisy, open on the sides, and fast, really fast. They were going to a market on the other side of the city, and the driver promised to take them there in just 15 minutes. Zach climbed in first and sat in the middle of the back seat. His long hair, tied in a messy ponytail, bounced as the tuk-tuk zoomed into traffic. He felt the hot air, smelled the street food, and laughed as they flew past buildings and scooters. Everything was loud, bright, and full of life. Suddenly, he felt something strange. His head jerked slightly. He reached up and froze. Part of his hair was stuck. He twisted around and realized that a few strands had gotten pulled into a small fan mounted on the ceiling of the tuk-tuk. The fan was meant to keep passengers cool, but now it was pulling his hair tighter and tighter. "Oh," Zach whispered. He tapped his uncle, who turned around and saw the problem. Zach stayed calm, but inside, his heart was pounding. The tuk-tuk was still flying down the road. The fan made a strange noise, and Zach could feel it pulling harder. The driver didn't notice anything. Zach reached for the fan and tried to turn it off, but the switch was broken. His uncle asked the driver to stop, and finally, the tuk-tuk pulled over. Zach leaned forward, trying not to move too fast. A small group of people gathered. One woman had scissors. Another man offered a bottle of oil. Everyone wanted to help. Zach took a deep breath. He didn't want to cut his hair, but it might be the only way. Then, an old man stepped forward. He smiled gently and used a hairpin to open the fan cover. With slow, careful hands, he untangled the hair, little by little. Zach winced as a few strands pulled tight, but finally, after what felt like forever, the last piece came loose. Zach was free. Everyone clapped and cheered. Zach bowed his head and smiled. His uncle gave him a bottle of cold water, and the tuk-tuk driver apologized many times. Zach didn't get back into that tuk-tuk. He and his uncle walked the rest of the way, laughing the whole time. They reached the market just before sunset. Zach's head still hurt a little, but he didn't care. He had a story now. A real story. That night, Zach wrote about the experience in his travel journal. He ended the entry with one sentence. Always tie your hair tight when riding a tuk-tuk. You just learned real English without even trying. If you followed Zach's story, you just practiced listening and reading real English in action. You saw how native speakers use language to tell stories, share emotions, and solve problems. This is how learning becomes natural. So hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And now it's your turn. What's the craziest thing that happened to you while traveling? Tell us in the comments. See you in the next story.